Hey, everybody. Tina Campbell, the New York regional partner of Master Network. We are a national networking organization, and I have a lot of terrific members. And I've been showcasing some of them recently on this Lunch and Learn because there's so much that people should know. And especially in this time when we're trying to help people to grow and to pivot, that's been a very big topic right now. We're also, some of this is timeless and I think can really go beyond this difficult time. So we're going to ask people to help us relay by relaying tips and techniques and tactics. And today I have a good friend of mine, Rob Genovesi, who's on the call, and he's going to be talking about branding on Zoom, which I definitely need. And so, Rob, can you tell us about yourself? How you doing?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tina. It's like the opportunity to be able to do this, and it's always good talking with you anyway. But yeah, a little bit about myself. I am a graphic designer by education, and did that for many years, and had a job for most of my life. And after a couple of layoffs, getting tired of looking for a job every 2 years, in my 40s, I decided to start my own company one day because I figured if I'm going to go looking for interviews, they're going to be for clients for me, and at least I'll retire from my own job. So for 4.5 years, I had a job and I built my company outside of that. I took mornings, lunch hours, evenings, weekends, nonstop building this company because it wasn't like I was freelancing. I was actually building a legit company that I was going to eventually run and expand to whatever I wanted it to be. And so I would, sometimes when I tell this story, I joke, but I got this new job and it was several months after I'd gotten laid off. So I was unemployed for about 7 months, but started my company the day I got laid off.
Wow.
So 7 months later, when I took this new job, all new friends, all new people you're working with. And every day on my lunch hour, I would leave the building to go out to my car to work on my company, phone calls, computer work. And after a while, they were like, "What is it with you, man? Like, you don't want to hang out with us? What's wrong with you? Do we smell or something? Were you too good for us?" A bunch of Italian people like me. And I was like, after a while, I had to tell them, I'm like, "Look, don't say nothing, but this is my story." And I knew I was going to get laid off because that's what happens in the creative industry. You
Right.
get too far up there in age, and they don't want you anymore, and you get too expensive. And um, true to what I was experiencing, 4 years later. 4.5 years later, I was laid off, but by then I had laid all the groundwork, had all the processes. I knew exactly who I was. The existing brand that I got here existed. My second brand, by the way, and I just hit the ground running, looking for clients. So it was probably the smartest thing I ever did in my life, and probably the only smart thing I ever did.
No, no,
That I
except
got it.
that marrying your wife, Anne.
Yeah, that was definitely. Oh my gosh, God, I
I
married
had
up.
to throw her in there. But so talk about pivoting, right? That's like the ultimate, like when somebody's getting that, pink slip and you're like, okay, all right, like next. And I mean, what a fantastic thing that you did was to be able to, and you know what, you're good at what you do. So, and because you really, to me, you set down systems and processes that were ready. So I'm sorry to take you off topic, but I think that that's what's amazing. Like I've been going through your branding process that you have and your strategies, and it's been really cool and really amazing. So thank you.
All right, thank you. And that whole pivoting thing, it's pivoting these days. It's weird because going through this Corona crisis, so people are trying to pay the bills, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I was just preparing for the future of what I saw happening, and I didn't understand anybody who wasn't building in some kind of safety net. Like the people that I worked with at that job, I warned them. I said, "Look,
It's gonna
this is
happen.
an economically bad time for the business we're in." We worked for a marketing agency and we were on one client. I'm like, "That client goes, you guys are history." I said, "What are you doing to back yourselves up?" And the answer was nothing. They weren't doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. So I think that and the people that are, having to deal with technology for the first time, like you
Mm.
and I were talking about that before, it's like, getting your clients, you could be on Zoom, but your clients might not be, right? So you're having to help them with that, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of a funny thing we were talking about before, but thank God some people are embracing it. And that's one of the things, like, what do you think about this? How do you brand yourself in this new, age that we're dealing with the technology and the online
Yeah.
virtual
It's
world?
anybody who sees any of my stuff on LinkedIn or YouTube channel, whatever, they
Very
say,
amusing.
what's that?
It's very amusing.
I try to have fun. I think we should all have fun. If you're not having fun building a business, you're doing something wrong. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, during this time, it is interesting. And I'm always talking about branding. But when we got locked down, and I know you and I were on Zoom before this, but when we got locked down and everybody was getting on Zoom,
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people kind of like deer in headlights, like, what are we doing? And they're looking for leadership and how do we handle this? And how do I promote my business? And how do I get new clients and all this stuff? And to me, everything I runs through a branding filter. So I have been trained to see opportunities everywhere to, expose yourself to people. I mean, your
No,
brand.
yeah, okay, thank you. Want
I
to be
mean, expose
careful.
your brand to people.
We want to be careful.
Yeah,
You know what?
you
Wait
want
a
to get the
minute. You, I
word out.
think. Wait a minute. I think you just hit on something. That might be an idea.
Yeah, it's one way to get attention. No, when you expose your brand to people, and so we started with Zoom, and I was, early on, I was like, I discovered this backdrop thing, and I was like, I'm doing that, and then I realized I'm like, well, this is pretty cool, and we'll talk about some tactical stuff in a couple minutes, but any opportunity to put your brand in front of people, to me, was the most all-consuming thing because you're at home now and you have time, you have nowhere to really go. You have time to seize these opportunities to put your brand out there. And there's so many ways to do it. And I actually have a list. I want to go through some things that are
Yes, please.
tacticals that people can do right now. And they're so simple. And I'm seeing some people do it, but I think everybody should be doing it because we don't know how long we're going to be going through this, right?
Right.
So some of the small things, um,
Do you want to share your screen?
in a minute,
Got it.
I
Okay,
don't
just
want to
want to
share
make
it
sure you
yet.
could. Okay,
Um,
go ahead. Sorry.
But the small things are like when you're getting in front of your computer, and obviously not everybody has a setup that's very nimble, but small things, face the light. We go into these Zoom rooms, right? And you go in there and there's people like this, they're in the dark and they're like, hey, and you can't see them, and they're sitting there. I'm like, you got a lamp? You got a lamp back there? Like, we want to see your face because you're representing your brand, right? So sit facing the light. Please put a lamp in front of you, sit in front of a window. It's just good practice, all right? The
Okay.
other thing is, how about this? Put the laptop or sit at eye level to the camera, right? So I'm basically at eye level because I see this, right? You see this sometimes. See people like this because they're on their phones or something. It's like, I don't want to look up your nose. So like, just, and people go, well, that's just dumb, Rob. It's not, because it's distracting, right? You
Well,
don't want to,
yes, I'm not hearing what the person's saying when I'm looking up their nose.
right. You're looking at their nose hairs and you can't even hear what they're saying because you're just
Yeah.
like, really? So these are stupid small things. And I say stupid because they're so easy, yet people don't do them. And I think that's stupid. The other thing is too, we talked about this before, people need to smile and you need to laugh and you need to have some fun. And I know it's a very serious kind of tragic time, but look, we still have to move forward, right? We
Yep.
still have to stay positive. And
No, I
so
mean,
I'm
I
always
enjoy
laughing.
it.
Right.
I actually enjoy it.
I enjoy it too. And I think that everybody needs to learn how to enjoy it because it's not necessarily natural, one time when you feel like you should be serious, but I'm always laughing and it's on purpose because I figure if I'm showing up, I'm having fun because nobody
Yep.
wants to be around everybody that's downward, right?
Yep. I agree.
So that's just kind of dumb little stuff. But I want to talk about some kind of more power things with Zoom. And we're just going to talk about mainly Zoom, but I just want to take a
Can
look at
I
one thing.
say that I think that these sound like they could be used in just like every day, even when we, are not virtual?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Because this is going to be the other way of doing business, by the way. After this all goes away,
Yeah.
the Corona thing, people are still going to be doing this en masse. So it's just good best practices.
Absolutely.
The other thing I looked at was, we have our names down at the bottom, of the screen right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people, it just says like Bob, or
Or
it says
it
like
says like Mary's
JR,
iPhone, or
somebody's
like
iPhone.
yeah.
Like change that. I mean,
How do you change it?
so you can actually click on your screen and a little
Yeah.
drop down and it says rename. And so you could change it to anything you want.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And see, I don't know if it just came up, but I just changed mine just right
You
there.
are awesome. Yeah.
So you can change that. Hey, put number one, your full name, but you could also put a message in there. You can use your title of what you are, branding coach, insurance sales, PNC,
Yeah.
whatever you want to put.
Oh my goodness. You know what? That sounds so silly because I mean, I've been on here for 2 years and I didn't realize what the rename meant. That's so
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people need to think about this. Every time we're in a networking meeting or any meeting that lasts usually about an hour, we're staring at the face, at the background, at the name. We're staring at these things. So these things are going into your subconscious. They're being burned in there. So put them in your favor by taking advantage of some of these little things. So that,
Absolutely.
here's another thing. Check this one out. How about this? When people leave, oh my gosh, so now we're at home, right? And my dog's attacking me. So I got to stop the video. And what usually shows up? Usually
My
not the
name,
person's
just my
face.
name. Yeah, my name. How do I do
Sometimes,
that?
sometimes the name, sometimes the person's first initial.
Hmm.
Like make it something on purpose. And so I'm going to share my screen here real quick and we'll show the people what we got. But if you go to, can you see this here, Zoom profile?
Yes.
So right here in the Zoom profile, you can see my picture off to the right. There's an edit button and you just hit edit and you can change that photo to whatever you want. It could be your logo. It could be, picture of your dog if you want, but it could be anything. And
Okay.
so that's one way to do that. So when you turn off your video, because you got to get Fido off of the baby, people are still seeing you. And I think
Right.
that's a great point.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So that's another little thing we can do. All right. How about this one? How about the chat box, which most people seem to be ignoring unless explicitly told to do
I
so.
know. And I say it over and over again.
All over and over, right? How many times you have to tell people, hey, put your info in the chat box. And what do you
Yeah.
see? People put in Joe Smith and that's it. It's like, we know who you are, but
Yep.
we
Want the
need your
contact
info.
info. Yeah.
So here's what I always say. Of course, your name, of course, your phone number, of course, your email. Here's what I'm not seeing, which is blowing my mind. Your website. Like your website is your hub for people
Right.
to learn about you and
Yep.
contact you. I can't believe people are not putting their website in there. And I'm always telling people, put your website in there because on honestly, that's probably the one thing people will actually use right away. They'll go, oh, I want to see what he's about. So they'll go click on it immediately.
Yep. Immediately. Because they're going to go, they go right in.
You go right in, right? So now they got it. Now they got your name. They got what you do. They got your email. They got your phone number just from the
Hmm.
one thing. So it's your hub. So that should always be in there. And here's a really good tip. Write it down in a Word doc and then copy and paste it with every meeting you go to. Just
Right.
don't
So you
don't
don't
type it
have to,
again
yep.
because you're not gonna do it most likely, and you're not
Right.
gonna do it entirely more than likely. So
Well,
just copy.
the one thing I just wanted to mention that some people don't realize is that, they're typing it in and they hit, when they hit enter, right? As they hit enter, it, and somebody else is typing theirs at the same time, theirs gets cut off. Like it's real time. It's kind of scrolling. So you really want to have, if you want to have your name, your contact information, all, even if you're separated by a few spaces, all really on one line. Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
that's a great point because intuitively we just strike the enter key to go to the
Yeah,
next line, but it posts it in the chat. So
yeah.
I understand that. So I made that mistake a couple of times before. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to try and type this every time. Let me just, write it down, then I copy paste. And that takes care of I only got my name in there. I accidentally hit enter. Now I got to put in my phone number and email. And now it's, by the way, it's about three messages
Drop down.
lower,
Exactly.
disconnected, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, type it down ahead of time in a Word doc, copy paste it when the time is right. That's what I say.
Good. That's a good, very good.
And also, here in Master Networks, we do our sound bites, right? And
Yeah.
time is of the essence. We've got 20, 30, 35 people in a room.
Yeah. Sometimes
Um,
it's 30
and
seconds.
anytime you go, and I have this company that starts, every word you waste is a second you waste of your sound bite. So again, write it down in a Word doc and read it. It's okay to read it. At least you'll get all the right words in within 30 seconds.
Yep.
and that's all that matters. So that's another tip with the soundbite on Zoom, because that way you get to say the exact message that you want. I read mine all the time, and maybe it comes across that way, maybe not, but it doesn't
No, I
matter.
think what happens is that I think even though you might be reading it, because you read it so often, kind of, that it flows.
Yeah, and after a while you get comfortable with it, then you just change little pieces of it.
Yeah.
But writing it down has helped me tremendously. So I recommend everybody do that, because again, you only have a limited amount of time. And how many times, people are like, all right, your time's up. And the person's like, oh, I was just getting going. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, I know. I know.
And then there's, so I think we just have a couple of minutes left, right?
Yes.
So a couple of, branding type stuff.
Hmm.
I might do this all the time. And I tell people this another simple thing is, when you look at my branding, you always see the color orange. Now, I didn't invent the color orange. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that,
I
Tina? I
oh,
didn't invent it.
I didn't know that.
It's been around for a lot longer than I've been alive. But here's the thing. But I own it, because everything I do is orange and gray of some sort. So people will associate a color with something. It's a trigger. So when I see it, I associate with that person because I've seen it so much.
Right.
What I say is people should pick a color. And when you pick a color, if you use it all the time, it becomes a visual trigger for people to your brand. It's so simple. It's so simple. And it doesn't have to be some wacky color. It can be blue. It's fine.
Well, like we have Master Networks blue. Some, if I wear like a blue top, same
Yeah,
color. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. It becomes a trigger for people. So I think it's a huge point. Another thing is use a tagline, come up with a great tagline. Because when you come up with a great one, the whole room goes, ooh, I like that. That was a good one. So
Always.
always a tagline, right? Little things. I'm going to end with two more things.
Okay.
There's one thing I didn't talk about that I know that actually triggered this whole talk, but one more thing is your clothing. I mean, I know we don't get to see much of anybody in here, but I saw a guy with his cap on. He's working from home, but he had a cap on that had the company's logo on it. I thought that was smart, because maybe you can't get this backdrop here, but a cap with the logo, shirt with the insignia on it, so that the whole time you're sitting there, a person's just staring right at it.
Right.
Right? I mean, you get the
Yeah.
Message It Works logo up there, but if you can't get that backdrop, and some people can't because of their technology limitations of their computer,
Correct. Yeah.
why not wear a cap or a shirt?
I
I,
mean, I've seen people with their some of their marketing material behind them.
yeah. I mean, why
Like
not?
a banner. I mean, I'm seeing that more and more. I'm seeing like Stephanie from Serve Pro. She puts the banner. I think she's in her kitchen, but she's got the banner for her Zoom meetings, which I think is really
Smart
amazing.
move. It's a smart move. I'm going to share one more thing here that I'm sure anybody who's watching this wants to know. Like, so what do you do about that backdrop? I'm not a graphic designer, and I want to show you real quick what we should do here. So here's what you do. First of all, you use a custom backdrop, right? And people go, how do I do that? Here's what you do. I'm going to share. You see my screen here?
Yes,
You see this
Canva.
website called Canva?
I love it. I use it every day.
So Canva, canva.com. You go here, it's totally free, right? And you come down here to desktop wallpaper. You click on that one, right?
Hmm.
This is called the 2-minute backdrop. So then once you come in here, you go to background, and you come over here and you can pick anything you want. And I'm going to pick this one. See this color here? We talked about color, turquoise. That's the color of my friend Teresa Safali, who you did a great lunch and learn with,
Good.
right? She owns turquoise, and anybody who knows her knows that. So you can put a backdrop there, right? And then what you want to do is you want to upload your logo. So you just hit upload over here, and you come in, and you can upload an image. Boom. There's Teresa's logo, right?
Wow.
Put that right in there, and you drag the corner, and you can resize that. Put it about right there, a little bit away from the edge so it appears on your screen.
Hmm.
And then you come over here to the text button, click text, click add a heading.
You need to, like, will you send this to her afterwards? Does she use one for her
I don't
Zoom?
know, we'll find out. And you can tweak this text a little bit so it
Yeah.
looks real nice. Get that line spacing tight, get the word
Mhm.
spacing nice and tight there. Boom. And then you can
Yep.
just like that, right?
Yep.
You got your website in there, and then you could add a little subhead here and you go, and then you put that right in place, right underneath, right? And then when you're done, you come over here, you got this download button, you click
Hmm.
download, download, and boom, it's download. Now check this out. So we go over to the Zoom, we go to the Zoom window, right? And you go to preferences, and you go to virtual background, click this little plus sign here,
Hmm.
add image, add image, boom.
Wow, look at that. You look good in that color.
See, now we got,
You have to give that to her. That
now
would
look
be
at that.
awesome. I love
Now,
it.
literally, it took me like 2 minutes to do that, and I've done it before, but it's really that easy to do. And you could see now if anybody is in a meeting for an hour, several times a week, and they keep seeing your branding behind you, they're never gonna forget you.
Yeah.
And this is a huge thing to do. Now, I know that some people they can't do it because their computer won't let them.
Yeah.
So I would say do this thing with Canva and print it out and just hang it behind you.
Yeah.
Just hang it
Yeah.
because it doesn't
Could
have to
have it
be
on
this
the wall
digital
behind you or
thing.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and just hang it there because then
Fantastic.
it's going to be burning there. And that's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing is, you know, we're staring at people's faces for an hour. Burn your brand into their brain, and you will always be the choice that they make when they need what you do over your competition. And that's it.
You're the first one that I've given an absolute rousing applause to. But I mean, I can't believe what you just went through. And I actually, I was doing it actually off. You didn't see me, but I was changing all those things while you were speaking. So that's great for me. I mean, you could do this exactly the same time as somebody's listening to it. So this is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's so
Thank you.
easy, so simple, so impactful. And I would love to see how many people will take me up on this, like a challenge
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do this. Put this backdrop behind you because let me tell you something. We're in a lot of these meetings together, and I know a lot of the people in our Master Networks family, and sometimes it still takes me a split second to connect what they're
To
faced
what
with.
they do, to what they do. So, I'm gonna say thank you so much, and we'll put that challenge out on the comment section. We'll put all your contact information of, how to reach you and how you can help people with their branding. And anything else, we'll put some links for them to explore this with you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I really want to say
we'll
thank
put
you.
down in the chat. We'll put down in the comments there.
Yeah.
You can go to my YouTube channel because I believe this will be on YouTube,
Yes.
and there's a whole bunch of videos there on branding mindset. Really help people out.
That's great. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. It's really fun working with you. I really
My
enjoy it.
pleasure. Glad. Thanks for having me do this. This is
Okay.
great.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.